Welcome to Money Making Monday on Lavarita TV. I am Kende Muhammad.
Lavarita TV is a special TV. Lavarita TV is the best of all. Educating you, entertaining you, presenting to you reality shows, accurate news. We speak the truth always. We speak the truth. Lavarita TV.
And today on Money Making Monday, we'll be discussing on how to turn your passion into money. We all have incredible skills and talent in us, and today on Money Making Monday, we'll be inspiring and empowering each other through knowledge to turn our skills into successful businesses. I am not alone in the studio today. With me here is a guest, but I'll be introducing our guest after this short commercial break.
9 states, 1 day. Adekunle Komolafe Foundation present table tennis competition coming up in the city of Kano, Nasarawa, Kogi, Ekiti, Niger, Benue, Lagos, and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). Finals comes up in the city of Kaduna. Amounts to be won: first place 15 million naira, second place 10 million naira, third place 5 million naira. Registration begins on the 5th of June 2025. To register, log in to laveritatv.productions.com. For sponsorship, partnership, and advert placement, please call Adekunle Komolafe Foundation Table Tennis Competition. Smash your way to victory.
In our world today, an idle mind births negativity. Let's give room to our guest in person of Mr. Adegbenga Olusegun Feyintola, as he would be widening our reasoning today about our topic of discussion. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for being in the studio with us today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Pleasure. Thank you.
So, sir, please, can you introduce yourself?
Well, okay. Well, my name is Adegbenga Olusegun Feyintola, the CEO and founder of Gem Crispy Confectionaries.
Okay, sir.
Recently, we changed the company's name into Gem Crispy Food and Beverages Limited, because in the nearest future, we want to also go into some form of beverages, beverage production and supply also.
Okay,
but for
sir.
now, we are into 3 major products, which is plantain chips production, peanut production, and kulikuli production.
Okay, that's nice, sir.
Thank you.
So, what was the thing that inspired you into choosing this path as an entrepreneur?
Oh, okay. Very good. No. Yeah, I remember vividly, when I am somebody who, frankly speaking, never believed in working for a salary. Yes, so after my NYSC in Kaduna, during the course of my NYSC, I taught for some time, and then I started business as a freelance salesperson. They call it a freelancer for this baby diaper and then sanitary pad. So, but then it get to a point, as a starter, got to a point, the product was doing very well, and then the company now had added a lot of distributors, and then we that had just maybe like a sub distributor, a freelance person, you take care of your brand, your supply tools and everything. Everything now became, we could not cope because they had a lot of distributors. So we are running into debt. Eventually, I had to sit and think. I said, now, what I do before is to market other people's product. So I began to think that this is what I want now. Since I never have intention to work under anybody, I want to be an entrepreneur of my own. I just sat down, I thought of it. What can I do? What can I produce? And I looked into my community. What is lacking? What can I be able to do easily? So with that determination that, look, I want to produce what I will sell instead of selling what other companies produce. That was what led me into, researching, and then I came up with this factory and my production processes.
Okay, sir, that's beautiful, sir.
Yeah.
So this part you've actually chosen as an entrepreneur, how has it impacted your life?
Well, you see, I always tell somebody, Nigeria is the population of Nigeria is so massive to the point that so provided you know how to do what you're doing best,
Yeah.
you should be able to sell your product. Now, no matter what you produce, there is always a market for it.
Yes, definitely.
How has this impacted my success? Now, when I want to tell you that even though the company were doing extremely very well, we sell virtually almost everywhere around the world, UK, Canada, Australia, and everywhere. We sell product online, you know, and but then I want to boldly tell you that we've not been able to cover just about 0.01% of Nigeria.
Wow.
Yes, because the sky is so big, is big enough for to accommodate everybody flying.
Yeah.
Now, I simply took advantage of the population, and then I expanded my knowledge on how to produce. And eventually, one of my greatest success story, I remember vividly when I was doing that freelances with, selling another company's products.
Yes.
Those days, I was able to build a house that was staying, very small house that took me almost, 3 years to complete. But when I started my own factory, I was able to finish my current house, a duplex, by far bigger than the first one, in just 6 months. And as the building was going on, the business was going on. Production was, in fact, increasing while the building was. So no one, hinders the other one.
Yes.
So, and, basically, when you're into business and then you need to, because why I'm saying this is so that people who listen will not get me wrong. As a beginner, you don't rush into going to build a house.
Yes.
Until you are financially stable. So I'm trying to say that it got to a point where I knew that I am actually financially stable, where I can, build a very massive structure, and then the production continues in the factory and the supplies continue to widen up.
Yes. That was a very beautiful answer.
Thank you.
So along the line, was it that before you started this business of the chips, kulikuli, was there a mentor? Was there someone you looked up to that you felt, okay, I want to be like this person, or I love the things this person actually does?
Yes, thank you very much. Now, before going into this business, I read some profile of some entrepreneur with our almighty Dangote inclusive, and then Otedola, some other people also. And then I found out that these people are actually not doing magic.
Yes.
Now, I see them as being human like me. And there's something I always tell my mentee, that if this thing works for me, it can work for you. So I have seen those people as my mentor. I read about them, I checked their background, and continue to follow their success story. Now, it's not just reading about them, but believing it in your heart that these people are not magicians.
Okay.
If it works for them, it can also work for you. So I see them as my mentor, those who, inspire me into being what I am now.
That's beautiful, sir.
Yeah.
So from where you started, was there any training or skill that you learned before starting this
In
business?
fact, this is a very wonderful story. Now, I was not trained by anybody.
Okay.
Everything I learned about my business, I learned them on YouTube, online. Now, what I did was very simple. When I see those videos on YouTube, I try them. Sometimes I may not get them very well. Sometimes when you watch them on YouTube, there are some things they will not show you on YouTube. If you don't get them, you give a test of your product and then begins to understand what is missing. It is not just, I want to tell you now that I've trained over 20 classes with an average mentees of about 30 people per class.
Wow.
A lot of Africans in diaspora. I've trained people who have started and are growing very fast at the moment. As we speak, the person who produced one of the fastest selling coated peanuts in Benin was my mentee. She's a lady, very strong woman. And then, of course, people have been coming to the factory for physical training. I've had people come from Cote d'Ivoire, from Benin Republic, from Togo, and even from Canada, returning from Canada. They came to the factory for physical training, and a lot more within Nigeria. Meanwhile, most of the people I've trained are online training that is being done on Zoom, on Telegram, and on WhatsApp. But the thing is, those skills were acquired by me, myself. I made researches. I went through those YouTube videos. I developed them myself. Because I always tell upcoming entrepreneur that, look, you don't rush into putting your product in the market.
Yes.
You need to do that research. You produce, you reproduce, understand what is missing, give people to test. Is the test worth it? If it's not worth it, don't rush into, because whatever anybody, they always say first impression matters.
Yes,
most.
it matters.
So the first taste that person have of your product, if it is awful, they will not go for that product again. So make sure you get it at the first, not at the first trial anyway, but the one you are putting in the market first must be perfect.
Okay. So that's a very beautiful answer. And so how do you think for those that are just beginning, how do you think they can actually market their product or services effectively?
Yes. Okay, like I said before, marketing becomes so easy now because why is it so easy? Initially, when there was no social media, let's not even talk about the social media. Now, what are you producing? Understand the category of people that needs what you are producing.
Yes.
Now, first, you need to understand the market. I always tell people, we have 3 kinds of market. What are you producing first? Who are the category? If you are producing sanitary pad, certainly your target market will be where women do their shopping. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Now, what are you producing? If you produce something we eat, maybe your target market at the supermarket and the rest. And I told people, we have 3 kinds of markets. 3 kinds of market. Now, one of the things that have helped me grow in this business is understanding that 3 kinds of market and what to produce for them. What are the 3 kinds of market? We have the modern trade. Now, the modern trade are the market where the elites, the rich category of the society, do their shopping, like the supermarkets, the big shopping malls, and the rest. Now, we have the middle class market. Middle class market usually are markets where the working class people do their shopping, just people in a very good salary, just those markets along the street, the major road when you're driving home from work, not up to the standard of a supermarket, but then big enough. That's the middle class market. Now we have the low class market. Now this low class market are like the kiosks or all these very small provisions stores we have within our local community. That's the low class market. Now, you will not expect that if you're producing, let's say, a product, plantain chips for instance, I can produce a plantain chips that is as big as this jar. Then I can make one that is as small as this. I wouldn't expect that the one that is as big as this jar will have the same price as this. Certainly this one will be lower in price, right?
Yes.
So if I'm selling this now, I know where to sell this. You sell this to the modern trade market,
Yes.
isn't it? Now, if you take this product as it is, as big as it is now, and then you go and sell it in the markets where the low class people, we know who are the low class people, like those people that the laborers that they just, they get daily pay. Imagine somebody that gets daily pay of like maybe 4,000 naira per day. You expect that person to buy a plantain chips for 4,000 naira.
No.
Or 3,500. You won't do that, isn't it? Instead, they will look for the ones they can buy for 200 naira, 400 naira. So understanding that thing can make you scale high. Now, at this moment now, we produce for the 3 categories of market. So you are making money in these 3 categories of market. So you must understand how the markets operate.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So can you share a success story to us from your journey?
Okay. Now, we have grown as a factory from where we started producing from just our kitchen, me and my wife, and then my small son, to a position where we now have automated equipment, and we have staff. We have over close to like 70 staff.
Wow.
Over 42 factory staff. We have sales staff. We have 4 departments: the packaging, the production, the admin department, and the sales department. And then we grew to a point where, like I said, we could decide that we're getting a new house. We built our house within 6 months, a very big house. From where we struggled to build one for 3 years and did not complete it. So I think, we are now a force to reckon with in the plantain industry in Africa as a whole. I've seen a lot of people in the diaspora, Africans in diaspora, people overseas who want to come to the factory, who want to come and learn under our tutelage, and who aspire to have a structure that we have on ground.
That's a very beautiful answer.
Thank you.
So along the line, was there a time you faced some challenges, and how were you able to overcome them?
Okay. Now, yes. A lot of challenges, and most of these challenges were being overcome by experience. And there are some that, I remember vividly. One of the major challenge I had when I started, was, look, I want to tell you that majority of the places when I started, I will have to travel to Zuba to get plantain, with my car, struggle, take passenger on the road because I actually started during the COVID-19, 2020, during the COVID-19. And there was something I did that time because my wife used to work with one medical lab one time. So I collected a lab coat, and then since I don't have a pass, I had to wear the lab coat, and then when they see me on the road, they say, oh, this one a doctor, just pass. So I bring in plantain, and then we'll process it, me, my wife, then I think about 2 other staff, and then my son will process it. I'll go and sell it that same day. So I had all the markets in Kaduna by myself. So it got to a point where I will go and supply all of them, only me in a day. Supply, then come back, do some logistic work, some procurement work, we'll process, we'll go and sell again. Now, why am I saying this? It got to a point where I knew I needed some extra staff to do all this job for me. That's where the major challenges came in. Getting a trustworthy somebody. So the first person I got messed up woefully. In fact, no integrity. And then, went away with a lot of money, and then, my experience was not as it is now. And there's something I did. How do I manage this now? Now we don't face this problem again. How do I manage this? I begin to give them what they call credit limits. Give them credit limits, and then restructure our operations, restructure, our supply, and every other thing. Now, when the staff begins to increase, we got to a point where we had challenges of stealing also. And by the grace of God, we're able to overcome that also now, by making putting some structures in place, like, one of the structures is the CCTV camera. Somebody will check and, counter check and all those stuff. So those were the major challenges we faced while we were growing.
Wow.
That
was really a beautiful answer. So what materials or tools will you recommend for beginners?
Okay. Now, for beginners, the first thing I will tell you is, first, as a beginner, don't rush into production. First, you need to settle down. Look, there's something I always say. There is always a market to sell quality product. So first, settle down, understand what you are doing. If possible, get trained by someone who has an experience in the field you want to go into, so that you don't make mistakes. Some mistake can be very costly.
Yes, very costly.
Very costly. Now, secondly, take advantage of social media to showcase your product. It will make you scale very high. Scale very high. Thirdly, I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who just started, and then when they begin to make small millions, they will rush into going to buy land that they want to build a house.
Yeah.
That will cripple you. You don't try that house project until you are financially stable. Until you are financially stable. So try to get help, try to get a mentor, who can direct you. One thing we learn from this mentor is that there are some mistakes you go and make. They had already made that mistake. They won't allow you to make it.
Yes.
My mentees, I used to tell them, because there was a time, when I taught them about the recommended oil, and I gave them some similar experiences I had when, we could not get our recommended oil, and then we used another kind of oil, and the issues we have, the problem we had. I even showed them how we had to use our batch number to retrieve our product from the market because of the complaint. So all those things are things, those mistakes you will not make if you have a mentor, or so just get yourself a mentor that can direct you.
Thank you so much, sir. So from the beginning of this conversation, you said when you started the business, you started with your wife and son. So how have you been able to balance family and work together?
Yeah. Well, that's a very tough question anyway, because sometimes, we get so busy that your family will need you, and then you will now begin. Me personally, I have a lot of people who need my attention all the time because of the number of mentees I have. Funny enough, after training them, they want to procure their equipment, they'll still come back to me and all those things. So if I show you my WhatsApp messages, a lot of messages, on Facebook, people want to buy and all those things. So, but at times, honestly, frankly speaking, I have to tell you, we go on vacation. I try to take them on vacation. Then most of the time, my mentees also know that once I close from work, once it is like 9 o'clock, because I still work until 9.
Wow.
Sometimes once it's 9 o'clock, I don't attend to you. I just meet my family, meet my children, play game with my son. We play PlayStation together and all those things, just to mingle with them. But thank God I have a very loving and caring wife who, in terms of my children education, she doesn't take it for granted. She's always there whenever we need to be there.
Wow. That was an amazing one, sir.
Thank you.
So I know there is someone out there that'll be like, oh, I want to be like Mr. Adegbenga. I want to be like him. But it's just that person has not gotten an opportunity to come close to you. I want to do what he does. I seem like my mentor, the way you said you read books of people that didn't even know you, but you read their books as a stepping stone, right? So what advice would you give to that single person out there?
Well, I've had a lot of people who want to actually be like me. They've reached out to me on Facebook, on TikTok, and well, even though we know we cannot attend to almost everybody, but a very few of them, I'd bring them close to myself, especially the loyal followers, because even your followers, those who are loyal, bring them to the factory, teach them one or two things, discuss with them, advise them, and so the question is that what advice
would you give to that person?
Okay, what advice will you give to that person? Well, you have to be steadfast, you have to be consistent, you have to persevere. See, perseverance is very important in business because most people just want to start and blow. See, if you can produce something and you can, if it is something they can eat and you can produce that thing and then you give it to your neighbor. For instance, let's say you're able to make chin-chin and then you share the chin-chin among 10 people. My dear, if you have 8 people who likes the chin-chin, then you can blow producing that chin-chin. Now, knowing fully whether you can blow producing that chin-chin does not mean you will start and make the money instantly. There are ups and downs. And there are times you need to persevere. There are times you need to persevere. You understand? So perseverance works with consistency. When you are persevering, you have to still be consistent. It will get to a point where people will begin, they cannot do without your product. Now, I'll give you an example of perseverance. Those days of our little beginning, even within Kaduna, now my product is well known almost everywhere. In fact, everywhere in Kaduna. Now, during our little beginning in Kaduna, there are some shops who go and supply and they'll tell you they don't know this product. And our target always, my target personally is always, when I see a shop that has a lot of patronage, man, I will do everything within my means to make sure you buy my product. How do I persevere? Now, they don't want to buy because they are not willing to pay for a new product. So what I do is I'll just drop it with them. I'll drop it with them. I insist, drop it with them. They'll tell you is sales or return. It's all the call sales or return. If they don't sell, they'll return it. None of their business whether the product is expired or not. And because you are sure of what you are doing, we agree to it. So what I will even do to them, I'll just drop the product. I will not give them my phone number. I'll just note down the shop. I'll now go back there after 1 week. They'll go, what happened? Mr. Jem, you know like business, so people have been looking for this product. They finish selling it. Because you are sure of what you are producing. Whatever you produce, provided it is good, can never be enough for you to sell.
Yes.
Perseverance. I give them on credit. I still persevere, waited patiently until I am where I am today, where people are willing to pay money ahead before they get your goods.
That's a lovely one, sir. So, do you think that same person you're talking to out there, do you think he needs a lot of capital to venture into your kind of business for a beginner?
Now, this is exactly what I used to tell my mentee. Don't just look at Mr. Jem that he has some automatic equipment and you want to be like him. I was telling people, I told you, just like I told you, how did I start? I started with totally manual packaging. When I started, I don't have even a sealing machine. I started with a self-sealing nylon. Everything was manual. I started from my kitchen. The capital I started my business with is less than 100,000 naira. In 2020, less than 100,000 naira. So, but what I did was, you don't need a huge capital. You don't need to start very big. Just start from somewhere. Start from where you are right now. You can start from your kitchen. Before I got my NAFDAC registration, I'd already started from my kitchen. Then I begin to work towards it. And of course, you know, the NAFDAC registration, they're not going to give you certificates unless you have a totally detached production area, totally different from your living home. So I had to get to that stage of getting my own place where we can do our production conveniently before going for the NAFDAC number. So you can always start from where you are. You can always start from what you have. Okay?
Yes.
So from manual packaging, we started, reinvested every profit that we made from that business. I reinvested it into the business to make it big. I hope you understand.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
It was really a wonderful session with you. For the experiences and everything, it was really amazing. And I believe that one person out there is fully gone into the business. Because one thing is not all about starting, and it's not about having the capital to start. It's all about having someone to guide you through.
Exactly.
Yes. And I believe with what you've said now, that person would have taken the step.
Yeah.
So it was a beautiful session with you, sir.
It's my pleasure.
And we hope to see you next time, sir.
Of course,
Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Money Making Monday. As you all know, we'll be bringing another amazing edition of Money Making Monday your way next week. Don't forget, for the upcoming Adekunle Komolafe Table Tennis competition coming up in October this year, with a donation of just 2,000 naira only, you can be a participant of the competition. To register, you can follow us on www.laverittatvproductions.com. And for our hotel and hospitality management, you can follow us on www.laverittahotels.com. And you can also follow us on all our social media handles. On X is Lavarita TV Ltd. On Instagram is Lavarita TV Ltd. On YouTube is Lavarita TV Ltd. On TikTok is MOFW Dating. And you can follow us on our Facebook handle Adekunle Komolafe Foundation TV. That's all on Money Making Monday. I am Kende Mohammed.
Lavarita TV is a special TV. Lavarita TV is the best of all. Educating you, entertaining you, presenting to you reality shows, accurate news.